Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Alton Board of Selectmen meeting for December 12th, 2023. It is 6:01. And we'd also like to have the Pack 53 Cub Scouts come up here and lead us this evening on the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Come on up, boys. Hazel, yeah. Right on over here.
Come on up, fellas.
Right here. When you're ready.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
253.
Excellent job.
Thanks, guys. Okay, we're gonna have an amendment to the agenda. We'd like to introduce the new building inspector, so we'd like to put that in the agenda. And that would be in the announcements. So do we have a
On
motion?
that? Yeah, I'll make the motion that we announce the new building inspector.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public participation policy applies to all selectmen meetings. A copy of it is on the back of each agenda, posted out this meeting room and on the website. And at this time, I would like to welcome Norma Dietrich as our new building inspector for the town of Alton. Thank you very much.
I don't know if you want to come up and any of the board members you haven't met officially yet.
Come on out.
Oh. But.
We've met.
Put a
Norma.
name and a face together.
We've met Norma. Oh, do it. Good to see you.
Andrew.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Nova will be officially starting today, and her job shadowing has already started with John, and they're going together for a while for a nice turnover.
Mhm.
Sorry. So just to give the board a little bit of background other than a high, but everything has already started and well on its way and seems to be working out very well. So
Excellent.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Welcome to the party.
Okay, public input on agenda items. Seeing none, we'll close the public input. We have no appointments this evening. And we'll go right to new business, School Street light pole.
Mr. Chairman, the information that you have in your packet, I was contacted by the co-op. They apparently had a service order request for the street light that is circled on the diagram, and it's on town property on the edge of the sidewalk, but it illuminates the sidewalk, but also the street side parking across from the bus loop at the central school. What they discovered is that is a brand new street light and the LED style. But upon doing the work request, they realized that it isn't being billed to anybody. No, they didn't have any record of who owned it or what. As far as I think there was some question as between whether it would belong to the school or belong to the town. So the question was, the question they had for the town is that whether or not we wanted to take it over as part of our streetlight bill. It would be the 2511 a month
For a month.
for that. But the other one that they have circled to the right of it is on our account, our streetlight account, which we have a master spreadsheet with all of our lights on it. So I was putting it out to the board to see what they wanted to do. As far as including it, or the other possible option is these two light poles are pretty close together. I did look at them today and I think, Paul did as well. They're very close together. We could eliminate one. And if the board chooses to eliminate one and keep the other one, I would eliminate the old one because it's the old style hangover. And then the one in the parking lot is the new LED. There's also another street light that's at the corner of Pine Street and School Street. That's on the
Yes.
other side of this.
So in the
I-
span of 200 yards, we got 3 streetlights.
Correct.
Right, and the next one is not, the next one further up, if we took out the one to the right, the next one is at the first entrance to the post office.
Is there any benefit to taking out that one?
The only thing it does is it doesn't increase our cost.
Right now it'd be an increase of $25.11 a month to have the one that's in the parking lot activated under the town's light bill, if you will, on all the street lights. So if we keep that one, keep it the same, pay the 25.11, or eliminate one of the two.
So this
it-
one is on.
That's on our account.
Yeah.
This, I
Right.
mean, if we get rid of one, I think the one in the parking lot should be lit up.
That's right.
because Obviously, it's a school, so.
That's what, I took a ride out there today, looked at it. I agree with Ryan on that, that the lights themselves, there's one at the corner, there's one here in the parking lot that should remain. And we should probably keep that one, but eliminate the one further up, going up School Street, going towards the post office. Because there's another one in down with the post office. That would be my opinion, is to eliminate that one and keep the costs the same.
I think we should just.
We have one in front of the school. That's the
And
one
no,
in
the
question.
That's the one that's circled right here,
Mhm.
right? The one you want to eliminate.
Yep,
This one.
yep.
That one's not in front of, that one's actually further down. You know that,
In front of a house.
there's an access point right there, that dirt access point,
Yeah.
but it's to the rear of the house that faces Church Street. They have a walkout in the back of their house, walkout basement.
Yeah.
That's what that dirt access is. It's being lit up. So the one that's in question, the one is the one that's,
Gotcha.
and like, because it has a parking area, we were talking about, you got more foot traffic there. It's probably better to be more illuminated in that area for the foot traffic and people pulling in and out of that
Yeah,
street side
sidewalk,
parking.
right, anyway, right?
It also lights it up so they can see their way getting to their vehicle. out of-
Yeah,
and
well,
from
yeah,
their vehicle.
That one we
and
definitely gotta keep, but
That one we should definitely save, and in my opinion, it's not, if we want to keep the cost the same and not increase the cost, eliminate the one to the right.
Yeah.
That's what I would suggest, but
So the downside of eliminating the one to the right would be a lowering of the available illumination at night, but in that area, and with the other lights around there,
yeah, it's just
it
the fire
perhaps
hydrant
is
there.
not a significant impact.
I will say too, and just to give, to let you know, it's not like we can try this and see what the illumination looks like. I can talk to the co-op.
Just
and
have them
tell
shut it off for.
Yeah, shut it off.
See what
and
it
then-
does.
and yeah, because they're not gonna take all of the hardware off the pole. They'll
Right.
just shut it down for right now, so we can take a look at it, and if it seems to be a big gap there or some darkness, then the board could revisit it.
Why don't we do that? We'll
Yeah,
table
we
it
need a
and
motion
have,
for
and
that,
have
if
them
you
shut it
do-
down for a little while and look at it.
Just
see what
see.
it does.
just see how it goes. The other one is further up.
That's fine.
And I
We
think
don't
that
need
would
a
be fine.
motion for that, do we, Paul? For them to do a trial run thing?
I don't think so.
Just consensus.
Just the
Yeah.
consensus of the board,
Sure.
just shut it off and see how it works.
Turn it off for a week and see
Alright.
what it looks
Yeah.
like?
Certainly seems reasonable.
Okay.
I like the current arrangement much better, but they probably won't go along with that.
But leaving them the way they are?
Yeah, with no billing.
Like
Oh,
they
with
don't.
no billing.
Yeah. That worked out good.
Yes.
Okay. Fire department, out-of-state training request.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, you have a memo that's in your book. This was presented to me by the fire captain. And the interim chief, obviously was aware of it as well. I don't see anybody here tonight, available to speak to this from the fire department. The the question is in accordance with policy. And we've talked about this before, that if any of our employees or town employees are going to attend an out-of-state training that requires air travel, hotel room stays, that they get prior approval, obviously, because of the expenses involved in it. This particular training, the memo outlines that the request to send 4 personnel to a FEMA center, training in Alabama. The course, the flights, lodging and meals are funded by FEMA, but the town would be required for the testing fee. But the main cost to the town's going to be coverage hours. The training is for hazardous material incidents. Obviously the training is outlined in the target audience. It's definitely a relevant training. No question about that, but
That was one of the questions.
yeah, it is a relevant training. I guess the question is, and I had talked to the fire chief a little bit about, I know that probably one of the concerns is going to be whether or not we're going to send 4 people all at once.
Yeah, 'cause what do we have for staffing?
Yeah, and I did have them break down because obviously they have, these employees have different statuses. So 2 of them are full-time. One of them is an on-call and the other one is an intern. I'm not sure. We're going into January 7th. And I, like I said, it is a relevant training, not discounting by any means, coming from my background at the police department and stuff, in-service training, specialty training, it's all valuable. Definitely, wouldn't say that, that we shouldn't support that. But obviously the concern with the quick turnaround at January 7th is kind of in an unknown status right now until we go through the vote in March as to what the budget's gonna do.
Aren't we also,
Um,
so the coverage of the payroll for the 120 hours, and then we would still have to pay people to be out at the same time? Time or whatever. That's what it looks like?
Well, there would probably be some gaps. I don't know for sure, but I'm sure that, there's gonna be some gaps in coverage for 24-hour coverage that we would have to probably absorb.
My question would be, is it necessary to send 4? This is a training facility. Can train 1 or 2 people, then that person can come back and help facilitate what he had learned, she has learned in the class, do a class here as well. I'm just concerned with having 2 full-timers and 2 with the intern and 1 on call. If we did anything at all, I would go with 1 of the full-timers and possibly the intern. Or 1, but that's my opinion, and in order to do this, I mean, obviously it's needed to learn and how to handle a lot of these, but I don't think it's necessary to send 4. My opinion.
Are we able to? Can this be tabled until we can ask them to be here to speak to this and kind of hash through like what Paul had just said? Can we wait till they're here to discuss this?
Sure. That it's not, they wouldn't be going till the 7th. The only thing is our next meeting is until December 26th. It's a quick turnaround.
Quick turnaround,
But yeah,
They may have to be able to set this up or probably
what it
fill
sounds
these
like.
spots before somebody else, or, you know what I mean? Somebody else, either you commit to it or you don't, and they pick 4 other people to go.
It seems it might be reasonable to send 2. And then, depending on what they learn and what they can pass on, to take advantage of the state program, to send 1 or 2 more, even though that's during the high summer season.
Well,
No.
the intern, if I'm reading this correctly, he's gonna go at his own expense.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
he's.
So you really
he has to
only
be one
send
of
the
the
3.
Really,
Yeah.
actually, I would send 1 full-timer and him, in my opinion.
I think
I don't see the need to send 2 full-timers.
I think it benefits our full-timers more than it does.
I think it does too.
Well, what I'm saying is it's also two people are going to take the classes that can tell the others exactly what they learned in
Well,
class,
and that's
instead
what-
of just one.
You kind of got two senior guys on this,
Patrick and
on this
Sam.
list,
Yeah.
and those two guys could go and bring it back and present it to the rest of the,
Correct.
you know what I mean? And they've got an understanding
Mhm.
of, you got two veterans there that can actually present this
Yeah.
the way, instead of sending an intern that is gonna be like, I don't know.
Right, I just couldn't see sending, I didn't see
Oh,
the
yeah.
need for all four to go is what I was saying, and possibly
Yep.
one or two going.
Yep.
If the intern's paying for himself, we could.
That's right.
And he could go with them too,
He could go with
because
them.
he's on his own dime. That's nothing to do with
If
us.
he wants to go.
We have to make sure we can provide the coverage with that many people gone.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That would be the other
have-
thing. They're gonna have to make sure that they can provide coverage. for us.
That's exactly why I was saying only one instead of two full-time going.
Well, would you consider authorizing two to go with the fire chief to make the determination about who those two should be?
I think the captain should definitely go.
That would be fine with me.
I was gonna suggest, and it's up to the board, and you know, if you want, I am going to be with the fire chief tomorrow,
Mhm.
most of the day. Conducting other business, if the board wants to provide a little bit of latitude, because really the board is only, only needs to authorize one way or the other by policy to attend.
Yes,
If you want to set some parameters and leave a little bit of latitude so that I can discuss further with,
Mhm.
maybe get some more answers, find out how quick. If they don't need an answer right now, then I'll put it back on the agenda for the
Okay.
26th. But if they need an answer or they need to secure some spots, I can definitely talk with the fire chief to pare this down a little bit.
Mhm.
I had mentioned that I had a feeling that this was going to be a topic of discussion for people versus, how many we're actually sending.
Mhm.
Because obviously the coverage hours are where the main expense
That's
is going to
correct.
come in. But I can also clarify, is that coverage, do those coverage hours or the coverage hours for two, what that's going to be and what that is actually going to cost dollar amount to make sure that it's appropriately covered in the operating budget too. So if the board feels so inclined to give a little bit of latitude for me to sort of hash out some finer details and maybe pare everything down with the fire chief, if the need is to go ahead and lock in those spaces now. If we find out that they can lock them in after our next meeting, then I'll make sure somebody's here
to speak on it.
yeah.
I'll make a motion that we allow the town administrator to make the final say on this.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
Do we
All in
have
favor? Hold on.
anybody in the department now that has these certifications? Or are we completely exposed right now?
My understanding of this is that they all have some basic training in hazardous material because they've already displayed that, because we've had some spills, we've had stuff over time. This is an advanced level FEMA class, so this is taking it to another level. So some don't have very much training at all, but some do have some basic level training that this is more of an advanced response level training.
Okay,
More of a
gotcha.
continuing education.
Thank you.
Yes.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'll let the board know what the outcome of that is.
Yeah, because you're speaking to them tomorrow, sure. Okay, map 2742, a Depot Street right-of-way request.
Mr. Chairman and board members, so what you have is, you have a package in front of you. So this is the property that's directly behind the police department. That property for years has been, a staple in the community, is the old Trombley farmhouse, better known then. Currently, the applicants that reside there are looking to put a second residence in the old barn. That 3-story barn you can see from Route 28 across from the American Legion. They have already attended the zoning board and got an approval to separate that property so that a new residence can be created out of that historic barn. and while using the main residence as a separate dwelling. So that approval has gone through. The fact of that property, the condition is that property right now is currently serviced by a right of way across town property, the extension of Depot Street down there. The reason this hasn't been to the board yet for approval is we were doing some due diligence on trying to find the written right of way or easement. And apparently this predates any type of recording like that. So there is no written easement with conditions and stipulations. So with that, the recommendation through legal and moving forward, if the board is in agreement to allow, since they have zoning board approval to move forward with the project, the condition would be that the recommendation is that the condition be set that that legal drafts a new easement, right of way easement that both properties will be required to sign and record, and that will be drafted with the conditions set by the zoning board on their approval, and also legal's advice on regards to maintenance and plan, things of that nature. We will still be responsible for what we're responsible to up to this point right now, but this will just further outline how things move forward for the two properties down there.
And again, this was approved by the zoning board back in September. One of the meetings, and then that was one of the contingencies is the approval of the Board of Selectmen and the easement right away.
I don't have an issue with it.
Any questions on it? Anything?
Can I bring this over to the talking about?
Sure.
Yes, you can. That's what they're here for.
I see future selectmen in the making.
Yep.
Just suck them right in.
Paving the way. Thank you, Nick.
Don't really see any downside to this request. Seems straightforward.
Yep.
No.
No, like I said, and it has gone through the zoning board.
I'll make a motion to accept this as written.
I'll second it.
Well, we should put a condition on that legal counsel drafts a right of way easement
Okay.
for this, and that the town is not responsible for any maintenance or plowing of that section of road.
I'll make a motion to take it as amended by Paul.
Do we have a second?
Yes, I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, police department, fleet lease payment request.
Just push the button on your mic, Todd. There you go.
Good evening,
Can you hear
Chief.
me now?
Yes.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I'm here tonight. I actually had a similar proposal last year. And for the benefit there, I included a printout of sort of how our revolving detail fund has performed since we first initiated it back in 2016. Very basic rudimentary numbers here, but it gives you our total income, our total expenses, and then calculates a net revenue each year. And as you can see, I put some notes down where there's certain years where those expenses include things beyond just the payroll that we process through. Like if you look at 2019, we had 2 lease payments. One was for our first lease program, and then we initiated the second one. So at the end of the year, the
Right.
second payment came out. We did our motorcycle lease and then also our tablets that are in the cars. We funded that with a grant through this account. So it's been used for multi-purposes, which is kind of part of what's created sort of the situation we're in. Whereas if you go through and you add up and divide for those 7 years, our net income is only 17,271. Our yearly obligation is our fleet lease payment, which is the $41,578.80. And we also have two motorcycle leases for a total of $5,520. So that's an obligation every year of $47,098.80 when we're bringing in like 17. So that's one of the challenges we have. And the issue with it is that it's sort of unpredictable by nature. The first couple of years we had just a ton of details. We were able to build up the account. That's how we were able to do some of the expenditures that we did do. But it hasn't been able to maintain that level. And as an example, I came here, I think it was in May, to get the detail rate changed. And it was from mid-May to like mid-August, we had about 25 hours of detail total. And that's like the heart of the year for us to get detail. So you can't really predict it. It's a little bit, I kind of use the analogy of like running your own home budget off of like overtime. You don't know if you're really going to get it. You don't go buy a car based on that. So the recommendation is to utilize some of the funding, surplus funding out of the operating budget to offset that payment again this year. I've been in communication with the town administrator. We're still trying to factor in the exact number. My memo put out the full payment. I guess what I'm asking is if we could up to that amount, utilize that, whatever surplus is in the police department budget to put against that. The purpose is to keep that revolving fund as healthy as we can. Through 2024, I'm going to investigate and try to come forward with some sort of recommendation on how we move forward. And obviously having more funding available there, we can offset whatever lease payment or however, maybe outright purchases, that sort of thing. So that's my recommendation. If we can put that money to that use, it would, I think, benefit us moving forward for our fleet program.
You're confident that the surplus will be there this year to cover it?
We're going to be very close. We're doing some last factoring. Last year, we put 25,000 towards it. Any bit will help. And so that's why I say if we could do up to the 41,000, we've been trying to run a tight ship the best we could. Obviously, we had the, I'll call it a benefit of being down a few people. That's kind of where we've been able to do it now that we're full staff. Which was obviously a very good positive thing to end the year on. I do believe we're going to be pretty close to that figure.
Would it be worth it to start a capital reserve for the cruisers? And then if we have money in that capital reserve to cover this, if that can't, I mean, we all know the price of vehicles are getting more and more and more. That's only going to sustain it for so long. So if we have a capital reserve, we can put money in the capital reserve. And if there is enough money in there to cover the lease payment, it's there, but we have a shortfall to fall back on if.
That was one of,
We'll look at it because I think we have one still because we had one.
yeah.
So I think we still do. But I can-
It keeps us out of the fire that way.
And so after I presented last year, the idea was to spend this year trying to figure out a new game plan. And of course, the focus became our recruitment and retention. And that really was a focus. And so I didn't put forward anything for capital reserves this year as the overall budget ask for this year. Moving forward, that's definitely one of the options that exist.
Right.
I'm really open to any possibility because the reality is we're going to have these cars.
Right.
And they do nothing but get more expensive. I mean, I was pricing out for 2023s on Chevy Tahoes for $40,000. Now the 24s are $50,000.
Yeah, then nothing's getting cheaper.
Nothing's getting cheaper.
It's not gonna get cheaper and
I
it's.
do have a question for you though.
Sure.
In the lease package, are the motorcycles part of that or is that separate?
Two separate lease programs. So all the cars are in one with the municipal corporation, and then we do that through Manchester Harley. So the two motorcycles.
So that's two different separate.
Two separate things.
Two
That's why I
separate things that-
separated those two.
And
two
boy, you
totals.
make 2023 sound really appetizing right now. $40,000.
It's true.
$10,000.
And I'm just gonna go back to the motorcycles, I'm sorry.
Yep.
That's 5,520 per year for the lease,
For both.
for the two
For
motorcycles.
two motorcycles, correct.
What is the actual time frame or time period that the motorcycles are used?
So, I mean, we have it in spring and summer. The most advantageous time for us is when we have our parades and our road races and those sorts of things, they can get out there. We try to put them out during bike week.
Yep.
And then Sean, who is our primary motorcycle operator, spent a little more time traveling this year than we were hoping he would, but he's our primary guy that really runs patrol with him.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we typically use him for special events more so than
Right.
regular patrol.
Than
Just
regular
because of the
patrol.
amount of equipment that you have and that sort of thing.
Any other questions?
No.
All right, do we have a motion?
So to word this correctly, so we would authorize Todd to pay the $41,578.80 from the police FY, the 23.
Operating budget?
Up to.
Up to, just
Up to the 41.
because we had a glitch in our payroll system this
Yeah.
morning. So we haven't been able to merge all the holiday pay and all of that and once we determine that between the two of us in finance, then we'll be able to firm a number up. But if we can expend up to that 41,583.
In other words, authorize the
Yep.
chief to.
I would like to authorize the chief to pay up to $41,578.80 from the 23 budget to put towards the 23 lease payments
Out of the police operating budget?
out of the police operating budget.
Do we have a second? I'll second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Todd.
chief.
Yeah, you can turn it. We'll sort that out. We'll talk more.
Okay, old business, solid waste furnace replacement.
I don't know if anybody needs to have a big discussion about this. I think we've all read it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and make a motion that we allow the furnace replacement at the solid waste center.
Second.
How about the doors too?
And the
This
doors.
is,
I'm
this is
sorry,
the
I
doors.
apologize.
It's including the doors.
Including the doors as well.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, selectmen reports, Dick.
All right, our hazardous waste program is rolling along. We're not doing collections in the winter time to the extent that we did in the summer. So far, so good. And the budget committee, had a meeting on the 6th of this month. And they reviewed and approved the default budget and the warrant articles. Somewhat to my surprise, the warrant articles, which usually are received unanimous authorization, we had some nays, but that was probably good in terms of deliberation and consideration. So I think now the budget committee is completed their tasks to the point where the next thing they have to do is the school budgets, which will be available later this month.
Okay.
Budget.
Okay, on December 7th, the zoning board met and we had one application was withdrawn on a special exception. One special exception was continued. One variance was continued. One special exception for a cupola over 35 feet was denied. And one variance was approved. And that's all I have for the zoning board. I would like to elaborate. There's been a lot of questions and a lot of concerns about the tax rate and the taxes that have affected the town and town of Alton. And just wanted to explain that this is available on the website for the town. And you can see exactly what the municipal is, the county, local education, and state education. And what some people don't understand is that what we can control is a small portion of the municipal, which is the 53 cents, is what we have gone up in the town of Alton. It was 53 cents for the municipal. The rest was 45 cents increase in the county, 34 cents on the local education, and state education was 49 cents. So this made a total of $1.81 that this went up, which is the actual tax rate being $13.18. Now, there's been some talk and on social media that this was a 30% increase, which is not the case. This was and is a 16% increase. So I wanted to elaborate on that, and I know that the town administrator will further discuss this. And that's what I have to say about that. If there's any questions, you can check the website and you can look into it and you can see everything clearly marked out as to what the tax rate is. Okay? On that note, I'd like to say one more thing. I'd like to wish everybody a very, very Merry Christmas. And let's hope that this upcoming year will be a safe one, a good one for everyone, and world peace. On that,
second
we
that
need
one.
to.
I'll second that.
Okay, and town administrator report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
No need to elaborate too much further on what you said about the tax rate, other than the fact that, another reason or factor that we ended up seeing this increase too was a combination of some of the funding that we received last year from the state in ARPA, bridge funding, the excess payments, those go in as revenues. And those were one-time payments that we saw as revenues last year, where this coming year, we didn't receive that money, again, showing a drop in our revenue, which also causes us to raise and appropriate more money on our taxes. But as far as the tax breakdown, I just like to reiterate, like you said, there is some confusion that the town didn't go up to $1.81. The town only went up 53 cents.
Right.
I know it's an impact on people, but it's a lot more reasonable when you look at the breakdown that almost every organization between local, county, and state increased roughly the same amount, almost consistent across the board, showing that everybody unfortunately is being forced to absorb some of the same issues of retaining and employing people right now. And then the other issue of obviously inflation and the cost of equipment, vehicles, everything, operating costs in general. So, and I would be happy just to reiterate that if anybody has questions, concerns specifically, and are looking for accurate information, that they can look it up on the town website, but also I would be happy to field any phone calls. And so would any of the staff here in the finance and administration department, to make sure that the information that's being put out there is accurate. We just want people to have accurate information when they're basing decisions come town vote. So, and then moving on from that, thank you. One of the other things that I just want to touch on, just to clarify some questions that I've been asked recently, and then I heard that have been asked of other people in town, is the concern of the town hall renovations came up again, all the work and the renovations. I'd like to reiterate that the renovations and when the board, I think you remember when the initial proposal came in, I brought some photographs in, and I have that photograph packet that those renovations started out of a need to repair. There was much neglected maintenance. We had leaking in all 4 chimneys. We had 7 roof leaks at one point. We had discovered missing roof cap. Also, the broken shingles and the flashing that had failed around the chimneys. That started, the water damage coming down in, the staining on the carpet here coming through this ceiling. So again, it's for the benefit of just turning the clock back for a minute to see why these things were approved, why we move forward with it. It was a need to preserve this building. To rebuild this building, it would be completely it would not be efficient. We'd have to bond it. It would be crazy. If we don't take care of this building now, we'll lose vital parts of it. So most of the renovations that we've had, not only were out of the need for maintenance and repair, including the 3rd floor renovation, started because of the roof leaking. But the other renovations that are going on right now were still needed. The HVAC system was in desperate need, and that entire HVAC system was paid for out of interest on a trust account only for this town hall. So none of that was paid out of taxation. So the tax rate hike has nothing to do with the town hall repairs, because the repairs that have been done up to this point have been done out of existing capital reserve funds or surplus operating budget funds. So just to clarify that the need for them, that these aren't frivolous renovations, they're repairs. And then two, to clarify that most of that money, all of that money came from different funds that are allocated for maintenance for this building and not raised through additional taxation. So thank you for that. And again, I would be happy to field any calls. And I've also given tours of the renovations to this building because we're quite proud of them. I did a presentation to the Historical Society and guests over the summer, and we took a tour of everything that we've done here. And most people that I have given tours to, whether individual or through groups, see and are very appreciative of sort of restoring the historical character of this building and keeping it for another, hopefully, several hundred years. So I will move on from that. The only other thing I have is one thing I wanted to get a consensus of the board for is flooring. So the town approved new flooring for this building at the beginning of the year with a warrant article. And of course, it's been tough to get through all the I don't want to put new flooring down until some of the renovations are finished. Now that we're finished with some of these renovations, we've got measurements, we've got things. The thing I want to find out from the board, so the original intent, especially keeping in the character of the building, was to go back to hardwood floors in the hallway through the stairwell. This hallway connects to the stairwell in the meeting room. All the offices, we're still going to keep commercial carpet in because they just take too much abuse. But the main hallways coming through to this beautiful staircase, we're all going to be put back to hardwood. Reason I'm bringing this back up to the board is because I don't know if you recall, but there was a request from the planning board to keep carpet in here because of the noise factor. I don't know how the board feels about that. I did talk to a couple of installers, one in particular that said that they could put a underlayment or pad underneath the floor before they laid it down to help deaden the sound a little bit. This is a big room. I think no matter what, you're gonna have a little bit.
What's under the carpet?
It's hardwood under here, but it's glued down. So I don't know I don't think we can actually strip these floors. I would like to strip these floors and refinish them because they look just like the stage.
Right.
The only problem is there's been some repairs made where the radiators have leaked over time. But the other thing is there's a lot of glue on. And I don't think the stripper would actually, I think it would gum up if we tried to strip them. I'm gonna check though. I'm gonna look into it.
If you look
more.
into some areas and peel it up just to see how much glue there
I
is
think
still
wood
stuck.
floor,
to
the
the
wood
wood
floor
floor.
would look beautiful.
It would,
Look beautiful.
but it'd be
How much
interesting to see
louder-
if it could be
How much
possibly
louder is it
sanded,
gonna
but
be?
it's.
Doing jumping jacks up here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, what?
How much louder is it gonna be coming up the stairway? And it's pretty loud now.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as somebody enters that door, we know they entered the door.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
mean, like,
It is gonna make a difference. It is gonna be a little louder.
I think it
I
keeps the
will say that
characteristics
it
of the
will
building.
probably
Yeah.
tighten it up though by if we end up putting new flooring down over this.
yeah,
Because they'll end up tightening it down and
especially if they put the
locking it
mat
in.
underneath it.
Mhm.
That'll-
Yeah, the
that'll
sound
deaden
in
it.
there.
I guess the real thing was, the real push behind it more so is this is trying to get that historical feel. I mean, the goal is by the end of this year to have the stage reclaimed. I mean, to be honest with you, I really hope, and I know there's a lot of other people in town. The goal is to be able to have any kind of presentations or functions, not necessarily at a board level. But I'd like to point out, I mean, even our guests here from the Boy Scouts, if they had a presentation one night, say an award ceremony, they could actually utilize the stage, here at Town Hall to hold a ceremony for something like that where parents and other supporters could come and gather. I know that, the idea of maybe having theater back in here, that may be a little tough, but the school functions, groups like the Boy Scouts, things like that, we should be able to
have a place that they can host some things like that on, off meeting nights or things like that. And I do know that working with the Historical Society and presentations they've given, that's really a push for a lot of people in town is to get that back. So that's really the direction that was going out. I definitely understand where the planning board is coming in, but at the same time, I try to balance that. The carpet really doesn't bring this thing back to where,
No, I mean, I think the hardwood would look nice, but I think it would be nice to entertain the idea of peeling back the carpeting to see just how bad the glue would be to remove. And if we could look at that to see if it is possible to sand what's here, as opposed to replacing it.
I think no matter what, I'm kind of into turning back to some.
Oh, yeah.
Before the-
Oh, I think so.
well, it's already been approved by the voters anyway.
Yeah,
It's been
It's just a
approved.
matter of how we're gonna do it.
It's
well,
how we do it.
I'm just looking at how we do it. The flooring's been approved, the money's there.
Yeah,
It's
it's there.
just making sure that, I want to make sure the board's in agreement with. So what's going to end up happening is I have to bring a proposal to this board to encumber money because we couldn't get it done this year. So I have to have a proposal for everything put together, and we only have one more meeting. So all the encumbrances are going to come to you on our next meeting.
Okay.
I just want to be prepared. So I'm going in the same direction that the consensus of the board wants to go, because I'm going to bring you a proposal that's going to have all this on it. And I do have a name of a flooring company that specializes in sanding and stripping here locally in town. And I'm going to ask them to come out and check this out.
Yeah.
And peel back, because we peeled the
It's
carpet
worth
back.
looking into.
Right. So as long as the board's in agreement in going in that direction, that's really all I need is a consensus, and I'll bring you a proposal to look at next meeting.
I think that's fine. I mean, yes, it's gonna be a little noisier, but if we do need to go over the existing floor that's there with a new hardwood floor, once the carpet is removed, if there is a sound deadening paper that's put in between, it is gonna help a little bit, but it will be a little noisier.
it'll be noisier, but way more pleasing.
Oh, yeah. So. Yeah.
We're good with that? Well, I'll move forward with that. That just leads me into the last comment or soundbite. Short one. Is the fact that, just to be aware that our next scheduled meeting is the day after Christmas. It's the 26th. So
Do you foresee a bunch of encumbrances?
I don't
If
foresee
you
it.
are, can we hold off on like the meet, like having appointments and stuff and just do the encumbrances?
Oh, yeah,
You know what I
if
mean?
there's a
So-
lot, yeah, no,
There's a
I
lot
think,
of them.
really, I think that between the flooring. Yeah, I don't think we have too many, but I'll put a list together and I'll talk with Stacy before we put the agenda out.
Yeah.
You're saying
Just to
anything
keep,
that's,
it is the day after Christmas and
Right.
everybody's, but I know we gotta get the,
we just
gotta
need to
get it done.
get, we
We
just
gotta
got
get
Still
to,
gotta
done.
get, yeah,
Right.
we gotta get it done, so.
yeah. But I get what you're saying. There's some things that are not gonna be time sensitive that we can push back
right,
2 weeks, and then we'll just get the stuff that's time
it's time
sensitive
sensitive out of the way.
and get it out of the way. So, but if everybody's still good, we'll keep that meeting
Yeah.
on the 26th.
Yes.
I'll work on trying to a quiet agenda as much as possible.
No,
So,
that's fine.
but that's all I got. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Consent agenda.
Oh, we gotta do minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry,
That's all right.
minutes. And I even had that page open. Minutes approval for November 14th, 2023.
I make a motion that we approve the November 14th, 2023. Minutes.
Second. All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Are we?
Andy abstained.
Huh?
Andy,
You
yeah,
abstained,
you could
Andy,
abstain.
No, abstain.
Yeah.
But you weren't here.
Okay, the November 14th, 2023, non-public.
Are we sealing those or releasing those?
Yes, all those will still remains.
Yes.
My recommendation would be they all remain sealed still.
So I make a motion that we seal the November
Oh,
14th.
yeah, no,
Oh,
you
they're
can
already,
change that.
they're already sealed. We
So we
don't,
don't have
To
to.
remain
Hold
sealed.
on,
Remain
hold on
sealed,
one
I'm
second.
sorry.
We're gonna have to change this because it's
I was
it's
here.
got Nick excused and not
Yeah.
Andrew.
Oh,
November
where did-
14th.
Where's that? On this one?
What page? On
On the regular minutes.
Oh, in the regular minutes.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, because that's what threw me.
I didn't
off.
notice that.
That's what I, because when I said geez, I go, I think I was
Didn't
here.
I thought it-
Usually I do notice that.
Oh, it
That's
was.
why I didn't
it-
abstain first, 'cause I was like, oh, I guess.
I'm sorry.
Because I was here.
It was so, if we can revisit that motion, and, reapprove those minutes with the the correction.
Corrections.
The correction.
Yeah, you wanna? do
Yeah,
that,
with-
Nick?
Yes, with the correction. Where's that? Hold on. Yes, yeah, roll call. Says, see, which one? I have
Approval of the
everybody's-
minutes for the November 14th.
Oh, I'm on the 28th. I'm
Then
sorry.
for
I was looking at
November
the wrong one.
14th. Yep.
Hold on. One more. I just want to see this. I did it myself.
You got it?
Yeah, hold on. Stand by one.
There you go. Yeah, it says it.
Yep, I make a motion that we, well, I amend my motion to add that I was here, not excused.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, back to November 14th, 2023.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming. We
Gentlemen,
appreciate it.
thank you very much.
Thank you guys for coming and doing the pledge
You're
of allegiance.
welcome back
for you.
anytime.
Take care, guys,
Thank you.
and have a nice Christmas. Take care, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have a motion for November 14th, 2023 non-public session?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for the non-public November
That one.
14th.
November
And to
27th.
remain sealed.
And to remain sealed. Yep, sorry.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. A motion on the minutes for November 28th, 2023.
27th.
I have 27th in here.
Got 28th,
Oh, yeah, that was the cover sheet.
28th.
No, oh,
That says on
okay.
that, But if you go to the thing.
I know it
says
says the 28th on that. So I make a motion, we accept the November 28th, 2023 minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And the last one, November 27th, 2023, non-public session.
28th.
Yeah, you said it is a 28th. Yep.
Mine says the 27th too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
On my
okay.
cover sheet, it does. though.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
And we're releasing those?
None of those,
No.
that wasn't sealed.
That wasn't.
No,
I move we accept the November 28th, 2023 non-public session minutes as presented.
Second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Aye. Okay, consent agenda.
Make a motion, we accept the consent agenda as written.
Second that.
You got a second? Just for discussion,
Excuse me.
I hope we never have a double payment, $10,000 again happen. That was paid twice and then it was caught. I hope that doesn't happen again. And that's basically what I have to say for that. If you look at the consent agenda, you'll know what I mean.
Yep, I see. it.
Mhm.
Okay? All right. You have a motion? And a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, discretionary action on requests for appointments. Road name change, readdress, request. This is one that we saw back in September. I think it was in September that we denied.
Yeah,
Is that the?
Yes,
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think of that road, the,
But,
off of 11.
but yeah,
Yes.
Butler and Cregan.
I had just one question on this and that is that on the the letter from the Perkinses dated May 25th of 21. The last paragraph, they said that will note from the tax pact have no effect on any other property owners who have addresses along these roads. I wonder, somehow did we miss something, or are they seeing something we didn't see? Because obviously from the public reaction, everybody thought they were going to have a major headache from the change of address requirement.
The E911, the E911 addresses would have to be changed.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
the recommendation came from E911 directly, because if we do a road name change or any kind of addressing,
Yeah,
it has to go through the state.
yeah,
And their concern is that the change that was being proposed was gonna cause a renumbering of other homes,
right. I remember
which
that.
obviously, yeah. So, though the Perkins may not feel that it was gonna make a change, the state was stating otherwise. There's,
They originally wanted to just switch the signs.
Yep.
Simply just switch the signs. And unfortunately, I mean, it can't be done that way.
Okay,
And it would have to be noticed. And
So they want to come see us again?
well, this is one gentleman that was not able to attend that meeting.
That was the one that sent his father
Yes.
yes.
and lied about it, kind of? Oh, he wasn't here?
Can we just?
Oh, I don't know.
Can
I don't know.
do we have to make a motion for this?
I don't think we see.
We have to make a motion whether or not to hear him. Next.
Listen, E911, my opinion is E911 told us we should leave it the same. I mean, it's 911, so that's my opinion.
I
make
made
a
my
motion-
decision the last time they
Yep.
were here.
All right, I make a motion that we deny his request for the road name change.
Second,
All in
I,
favor? Aye.
aye.
can we make sure that we communicate with him the reason if he's not aware of it?
Yeah, could we send him a letter? Is that possible?
Or he may be well aware of it, I don't know.
I'm sure he'll be in touch. He'll be in touch.
Okay.
Okay.
We do notify them that the request was denied.
Can you,
so-
if you make that note, can you just make sure he knows? I mean, 911 didn't want us to do it. I mean, who wants to go against 911?
He's aware of it,
Yeah, who wants to go against 911?
but yeah.
I
that's-
get it. I understand.
Okay. All right. Public input. Any public input? Seeing no one left here, we'll close the public input. No non-pub tonight. I'll take a
I'll make a
motion.
motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, gentlemen.
Grab another one for the road.
All right. You people with your remote cars. Thank you, everyone. And really, I do